Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bigger Than Race, exposure to all things truth, whether you like it or not, with unique perspectives from different beings from all walks of life. This is Bigger Than Race. Investigate truth on your own terms. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bigger Than Race. Do you know who this is? This is your boy, Brando. I'm back with another video of the month, and for this asset that we're going to be talking about, we're talking about none other than Raven Protocol. Now, we know artificial intelligence is here to take over the world, and with artificial intelligence, people across the globe, companies across the globe are going to be able to do things that they couldn't do, and they're going to make life a lot easier for people like you and me. You've seen me do videos on certain companies, certain protocols that utilize and function around AI. Dolly, and there's plenty of others. But here we're talking about Raven Protocol, the decentralized computing protocol for the future. Build artificial intelligence, Web3, metaverse, and gaming dApps on Ravenverse. Now that is a big deal. Huge deal. We have artificial intelligence, can build and train large-scale machine learning, deep learning models. Web3, build Web3 application dApps on top of the Ravenverse. Metaverse, build metaverse applications on top of the Ravenverse. And gaming. Gaming applications can offload heavy computations. Now, think about this in the future, 2030, when the world is all gamified and a lot of these metaverses are going to be running, and you're going to have millions of people, if not billions, operating in these new economies. You're going to need this AI computing power. This is where Raven Protocol comes into play. Now, what is Raven Protocol, you ask? Raven Protocol is a future-oriented computing protocol that specializes in decentralized computing paradigms on blockchain. With the advancement of the internet, applications like artificial intelligence, Web3, gaming, video production, and VFX require cost-effective and cutting-edge methods. We have billions of internet-connected devices with unused compute power, and decentralization has the potential to connect these devices as a powerful computing resource. Distributed computing is a scalable, efficient, and reliable approach to solving tasks that would prove tedious and time-consuming to an individual system. Raven Protocol distributes heavy compute requirements to the ecosystems and bridges the gap between the ever-growing compute power demand and the plethora of idle compute resources across the world. It incentivizes who contribute their compute resources in exchange for Raven tokens. Now, what is the Ravenverse? The Ravenverse is a decentralized computing framework to power decentralized apps in the metaverse. You have RaveSock, which uses scheduling algorithm to assign ops to the available nodes and coordinates between them. It facilitates the efficient distribution of ops and efficient merging of results. You have RaveOp, which is one of the crucial build blocks of Ravenverse. It is a library of requesters to create and interact with ops, perform mathematical calculations, and write algorithms. Remember, the cryptocurrency is for the AI algorithms and drones. Now, the RavePi. RavePi is a Python SDK that allows providers to intuitively participate in any ongoing graph computations in the Ravenverse. It has support for both distributed and federated computing. Rave.js, a JavaScript SDK to participate ongoing graph computations in the Ravenverse. Rave.js comes with its own UI, and there is no need to fiddle with the integration. And RaveDL is a high-level Python wrapper that defines the mathematical backend for building layers of neural networks and to provide essential abstractions for training complex DL architectures in the Ravenverse. That's right, you heard it right. Neural networks. And we know Neuralink is around there with Elon Musk. Words mean things, folks. Now you can participate as a requester, provider, and a facilitator. Here is the white paper, which we're not going to delve into today. And here is right here is where their blogs are and their announcements. Recently, they had a proof of stake announcement in August, and soon they're working on the staking for the Binance, the BSC tokens. I don't know when that's going to come about, but it's coming, baby. Here's where they've been featured on. But what I would like to do before we even go any further with Raven Protocol is I want to take you to the horse's mouth himself. None other than Sherman Lee. And this video is very bullish. He talks about why AI and machine learning needs to be decentralized. And I think anybody who's investing in this should definitely understand this video, and you should watch it. So here I'm going to play it for you because I think this is one of the most crucial videos.
Next, we'll hear from Sherman Lee of the Raven Protocol. Sherman is a longtime acquaintance of our mainframe founder, Mick Hagan, and we are very excited to hear what he has to share.
All right, what's going on, Decentralized Summit? I'm Sherman Lee, and thank you for that introduction. I'll be talking about AI and blockchain today. I know these are like the two buzziest words around the last couple of years, but I'm going to share with you why artificial intelligence and machine learning, it really needs to be decentralized. So a little bit about me. I'm the founder of Raven Protocol, where I work on decentralized and distributed deep learning. And we're creating a network of compute nodes that utilize idle compute power specifically for the purposes of AI training, where speed is the key. I'm also a partner at Zeroth.ai, where I invest in AI, blockchain, and deep tech companies. We have offices in Hong Kong and China, Bangalore in India, Tokyo in Japan, which is where we have also a strategic partnership with SoftBank's DeepCore to invest in and address the global issues of the power of AI. I always like to tell this story. I never thought that I would be working in the AI field. I grew up in Oakland, California, in a very rough neighborhood. The picture on the left was my local liquor store. This is where we bought snacks, drinks, sodas, ice creams, and all that stuff. And we would stop in every single day. But so would all the drug dealers on that street. Like sometimes at my own house, I would find crack rocks in the mailbox because like when the police patrolled around, the drug dealers needed to find a place to hide their stash, which was our mailbox. When all was said and done, they came knocking on my door looking for it later. And this was wild as a 7-year-old kid, the things that I just really shouldn't have been learning. But somehow I ended up getting into UC Berkeley. I studied computer science. I took classes on artificial intelligence and distributed computing. One of my first jobs was a machine learning, out of college, was a machine learning engineer at Yahoo. I was the first engineer on that team. I helped scale the content platform there to 600 million users. My area of specialty was clustering and specifically on news article content. So if you've ever read a bunch of news articles in search, or you went down to the C-related articles at the bottom of any news article, you probably saw my work. But using machine learning on that content platform wasn't an easy task. It was actually kind of a hard feat. I worked with a team of about 25 research scientists, and we had 40,000 servers running Hadoop. It was literally my job to make machine learning scale in production, and I worked on this problem for about 5 years. Um, this kind of technology is trapped inside of mega corporations like Facebook or Amazon, Google, Microsoft. Like the computing power, the data sets, the research, the technology. This was all hoarded for themselves. And AI today is totally centralized. It's mostly a privilege of large companies with really rich resources. These are companies that are able to hire expensive AI and machine learning teams. They're able to develop models which produce more data, which enriches their company's data sets, and it turns into this really vicious cycle. And it's resulted in large companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, acquiring really unprecedented levels of knowledge and influence over like our daily lives. Can a small startup stand shoulder to shoulder with these kinds of giants? I had to find out the hard way. So that's me in the back with the double peace signs in 2017. I look happy, but this was a period of time in my life where I was just super stressed out. I was running an AI startup. User growth was coming fast. Costs exploded, and on AI training alone, we're being invoiced $5,000 to $10,000 a month from AWS, and that's a lot of money for like a small startup. And the training times were slow. Took about 2 weeks to train a 1 million image data set, and that just wasn't acceptable. And I thought that because I did machine learning at scale already at Yahoo, I could pull off some of those really difficult tasks. And I was in for a shock how incredibly hard it was for a company, a small company without the big resources of like a big company has. To really compete with those giants, we have to start putting the power of AI into the hands of the community. So in the last 5 years or so, we kind of made a bit of progress. In the first phase, there were advanced techniques in AI and machine learning that got open sourced. There's incredible work from AI researchers. The picture on the left are the forefathers of deep learning, and their work got into the hands of AI practitioners via numerous papers that they published. In phase two, that work from the AI practitioners got into the hands of software developers via implementations on GitHub. And this led to a chain of events where well-structured and optimized machine learning and deep learning frameworks were created. So these are things like Torch, Tiano, MXNet, CAF, and of course TensorFlow. And that was just the beginning. It was a period of time which I called an MVP. It was a validation that there was a huge demand for companies to leverage existing AI and machine learning frameworks. And living through all that is what makes me really believe that blockchain will transform the entire AI industry. Because if we successfully decentralize 3 key things, like how we get the training data, finding the research algorithms, and leveraging compute resources, we'll be able to live in a world where AI and machine learning models are getting better, faster. And this could be done without the rich resources of a large company. Individuals in the AI community and small startups will have access to this power and create applications that just would never have seen the light of day. Blockchain enables a decentralized AI training data. So like having enough data to train AI and machine learning models has been a never-ending challenge for everyone. Traditionally, only companies with a ton of users have access to those large data sets. So decentralization is a really good fit for getting more data sets into the hands of the AI community. And there's companies working on that like Ocean Protocol and Quadrant, which reward users for supplying that data. And there's also companies like Effect.ai and Gems that are rewarding users for correctly labeling that data. And then blockchain also enables sharing of research algorithms and trained models. While data is the key in training AI and machine learning models, algorithms that run in a decentralized and distributed manner is what's needed to process that data. So companies like SingularityNet and Cortex, they have marketplaces where you can purchase trained models, other AI services, and use algorithms that are developed by other people in that marketplace. And then a blockchain enables the sharing of idle compute resources. So leveraging idle computing power really helps to run computationally intensive AI and machine learning training. And we all own idle compute power. You know, it's in our laptops, it's in our phones, and you should be able to earn money by lending that out. Like, you know, even all while attending this decentralized summit, you could literally get paid for watching these talks because your computer is just running. And companies like Golem or Perlin and Hypernet, they all have novel ways of leveraging idle compute power. And obviously, I'm one of the founders of Raven Protocol, where we're creating a network of compute nodes that utilize idle compute power for the purposes of AI training, where speed is the key. We have a very specific use case to perform fast AI training, allowing companies to iterate on their models quite quickly. And we discovered that our unique value proposition, which is that Raven performs AI training where speed is the key. We developed a completely new approach to distribution that speeds up a training run of 1 million images and takes that down from 2 weeks to a few hours. So existing deep learning distribution methods and frameworks, I'll call these the conventional methods, they've come a long way, but you know they still require gargantuan servers for the speeds at which the demand is increasing for AI. Data and model parallelism have been used to optimize this, but it really creates inherent latency in the network, and it's just not scalable beyond a certain limit. And at Raven, we solve latency by chunking the data into really small pieces, literally down to the bytes, maintaining its identity, and then distributing it across a host of devices with a call to action, which are the gradient calculations. This is a screenshot for the first time that we ever fired up the Raven network. Our proof of concept worked in a local dev environment, but to get this to work in production with external compute resources would require extremely hard work. So we had to start building our own framework. And like, to give you a bit of background, we simply couldn't build upon one that existed, as our approach was unique. Like the existing frameworks, they just had a different approach for calculation and data distributions, which couldn't have solved for our purpose. So we had to rewrite the foundation layer, which could support minuscule distribution over a distributed setup. And we do that with dynamic graph computation. So bear with me, this gets a little technical. So all the frameworks operate on tensors and are built on computational graphs as a directed acyclic graph, a DAG. And in most of the current and popular deep learning frameworks, including TensorFlow, the computational graph is just static in nature. However, there's frameworks like PyTorch, and it's dynamic, and that gives a lot more options to researchers and developers to fiddle around with their creativity and imagination of how they want to optimize things. And a major difference between static and dynamic computational graph is that in the former, the model optimization method is preset, and the data substitutes the placeholder tensors. Whereas in the latter, the nodes in a network, they're executed without a need for any placeholder tensors. So dynamic computation holds a very distinguishable advantage in cases like language modeling, where the shape of the tensors are variable during the course of training. The benefit of a dynamic graph is its concurrency. So it's robust enough to handle the contributor node addition or deletion, which makes the whole Raven training sustainable. So Raven is thus capable of eliminating that latency and scalability issues with both of those approaches, and thus hence distributing the training of any deep neural network and their larger data sets by getting rid of the added dependency on the model replication. And data is also sharded in smaller snippets. And in fact, the model is intact at the master node, and the heavy lifting is distributed in the tiniest snippets of data subsets over a network of contributors. And then the resulting gradients after those calculations that happen at the node or contributor end is then sent back to the master node. And this creates a ton of difference, as it's easier for calculations to pass through from machine to machine rather than creating multiple replicas of a complicated model, which most conventional methods do today. I know that was kind of a lot of stuff to wrap your head around. But if you want to learn more about why AI machine learning needs to be decentralized, or if you want to learn more about the Raven protocol, just feel free to reach out to me or the team. In fact, if you do reach out, we'll send you 100 Raven tokens. Actually, we'll airdrop tokens to every single attendee of the Decentralized Summit if you email us with the subject, the need for speed. So the email is founders@ravenprotocol.com. I really hope you all enjoy the rest of the Decentralized Summit. Every single event that Mainframe has put on has been top notch, and I always learn a lot from them. So thank you for your time.
Yes. Now, that might have been over some of your heads, but I needed you to understand it from Sherman Lee's perspective. Because Sherman Lee is Sherman Lee. He's the top dog. Now, these are some extreme important articles here. Not this one, but this one here. The future of AI is on blockchain. At the beginning, my professional career, I used to work as a data scientist. Actually, this is actually what he just covered in that whole 16-minute presentation. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link so that you guys could read this for yourselves, because this is some very bullish information. But let's just say this. So the future of AI is on blockchain, right? The three currently most prominent enterprises technologies are without doubt AI, blockchain, and IoT. And the driving factor behind them is data. People even go so far to proclaim that data is the new oil. New technologies enable collection, sharing, analysis of data, and automation of decisions based on them in ways that haven't been possible before. In what is essentially a data value chain. Now, out of the three blockchain technology is what assembles the pieces. You have blockchain is the core, ladies and gentlemen. Blockchain is the foundation. You need blockchain to do all of this great stuff. So, blockchain is the foundation and it assembles the pieces, and there is a whole ecosystem of data-driven blockchain projects emerging. This decentralized ecosystem is set to help incentivize people to contribute data, technical resources, and effort. First generation projects have been focusing on creating the data infrastructure to connect and integrate data, which is IOTA, IoT chain, or IoTex for data for connected IoT devices, or Streamer for streaming data. Second generation projects have been working on creating data marketplaces, Ocean Protocol, SingularityNet, Fiscal, and crowd data annotation platforms, GEMS or D-Brain. With solutions covering the first steps on this data value chain maturing, my friends Sherman and Raul started to work on Raven Protocol, a first third generation project that will close an important gap at the analyze stage, compute resources for AI training. A recent OpenAI report showed that the amount of compute used in the largest AI training runs has been increasing exponentially with 3.5 month doubling time. This is a 300,000x increase since 2012. You can see the staggering amount going upward. The immediate consequences from this are higher costs as used compute is increasing faster than supply, longer lead times for new solutions as model training takes longer, increased market entry barriers based on access to funding and resources. These consequences can prove dire for smaller firms and researchers, limiting their ability to create competitive models without significant funding. And even with funding, they might be blacklisted from resources if they are considered competition by the providers. But big corporations will feel the cost as well, considering both the growth rate of resources and the growth rate of their AI efforts multiplied. I spoke to a few chief data officers of Fortune 500 firms over the past months, and while they don't consider it an issue yet, even they have to agree that they can invest their money in better ways than in bought-in HPC resources. The beauty of blockchain ecosystems is that they allow to tap into otherwise unused resources, trade resources that would not have been tradable, and allow people to participate in a market that otherwise could not participate. From an economic perspective, it improves the leverage on existing resources, where first and second generation data blockchain solutions use this to lower the barrier for access to annotated quality data. Raven Protocol is going to solve the training cost challenge. It is closing the gap that would have prevented the proverbial chain to hold that is only as strong as its weakest link. Hint, it's the data value chain. Together, the solutions in this blockchain data ecosystem create new opportunity, and they lower the cost. Especially the second is key as it lowers the entry barriers for new innovation, enabling more people to contribute and therefore potentially accelerating our progress as a society. Now, this is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is a big deal. If this is all sounds a bit abstract, just have a look at one area where AI can help: healthcare. Our global healthcare system is in a serious distress. Costs are exploding. They are expected to increase by 117% over the next 10 years, despite already being at up 18% of a country's GDP. At the same time, research for new drugs is hitting a cliff. Our healthcare systems needs lots of innovation to keep healthcare affordable. And there are many opportunities where AI solutions can help. For this reason, healthcare is the industry with the highest investment in AI and has been for years. However, access to data and high costs create an entry barrier, which would limit research of new solutions to incumbents and other big players. The blockchain data ecosystem changes that and increases our chances to finding the right solutions in time. Raven Protocol is probably not the last, but an important stepping stone to make that work. Please let me know what you think. Now, you heard it here from the horse's mouth. Overnight success, Raven Protocol. This was a 2019 update. Now, this is a very bullish article here. I think this one I'm going to actually link it for you so that you can read through it yourself. But it's very bullish, and anybody who wants to delve into Raven some more, that's a great article for you. But I want to move over to his investment company called Zeroth AI. We accelerate early stage artificial intelligence and machine learning companies. Here are the global partners: Animoca Brands, DeepCore, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, SendGrid, DigitalOcean. Zeroth is Asia's first accelerator program backing founders working on frontier technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and robotics. We invest capital into visionary founders at the pre-seed and seed stage and partner with them over 3 months to build their startups through a team of experienced entrepreneurs, network of partners and investors, and a community of founders. Our impact: we got 60 companies since 2016 in 18 countries and 3 locations. Why we do what we do? We believe that artificial intelligence technologies will produce amazing products within the next 100 years. And we believe our founders are the ones to produce those leaps. Our mission is to build the ecosystem that serves all Zeroth founders. We strive to support them with the resources and opportunities they need to succeed, whether in Asia or elsewhere. Our team is made up of ex-founders that has been through the peaks and valleys of building successful startups. We aim to bring our industry knowledge, technical know-how, and global network in assisting all portfolio companies to take their companies to the next level. Boom! You know what it is. Now let's look at some of their portfolio. And you may notice a couple assets on here. You got DAP. Some of these are Chinese-based companies. We got Utu, CO Robotics, Scribe, Olive X, which is Dose, and a couple other companies that we may not know of, but they are in the AI field, ladies and gentlemen. We're not playing around when we're talking about we're going to be making the money. But you have to invest in the right assets. You have to invest in the right protocols. And you have to pay attention and you have to buy into them early. That's where you get more bang for your buck. And we know I love banging for my buck. So if I were you, I would take a look at purchasing some Raven. Because if you don't, you will kick yourself in the ass because you will feel like you missed the boat. Don't be that person. The asset is very cheap right now. It's on CoinGecko. Raven Protocol. Got a couple zeros in front of it. Market cap is at 1.2. Circulated supply is at 4.4 billion. Total supply of 10 billion. And ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started. Don't be the person that says, oh, I wish I would have got it when it was cheaper. Be the person who actually takes action when it's cheaper so that you can ride the wave up and earn money short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another great video You know who this is? This is your boy, Brando. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Of course, you know we can go in a lot deeper, but sometimes people don't like videos that go so deep because their attention span is a hot pocket. They only got 3 minutes to get you. They just want to know what the asset is and they go about their business. But see, it never builds any true confidence in what they're investing in because they don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. But now you do know that Raven Protocol is an asset that you should hold. Investigate truth on your own terms.